Hey guys, so we're going to go through today how you open up Arc Pro, and then we're also going to take a look and see what the general outlay or outline of your new project is. In the next set of videos, we'll deal with how to add in data and things like that, but for this one, this is just going to be how we open up Arc Pro and what some of the things you want to think about are. So in this particular case, if you have a Windows computer and you can start searching in the search bar just for ARC, then usually you'll have ArcGIS Pro that pops up on your desktop or on your search menu. And so once it loads, usually the first thing you'll have to do is log in with your ID. Now what that ID is going to depend on who set everything up for your organization. But in this particular case, I'm already logged in, and so this is what's going to pop up once you're already logged in. Usually what you can do is you can start with a map, so you can click on map. This is going to create a new folder and a new place for that project or for that set of documents or that ArcGIS workspace that you're going to be doing your various different things are. Every time you open up Arc though and you say I want to create a new map, it's going to create a new folder there. So if you don't want that and you just want to save it to a temporary place, you can start without a template. You don't want to do this though if you want to be saving things into some sort of folder or place, because that will not create one, and so it's just going to add in a lot more work for you and will potentially break things when you are dealing with multiple data sources or a rather extensive process. So when you open up map, it's going to create a new dialog box here. Every single time you create a new one, it's going to start with the naming system, my project, and whatever number you happen to be on. So for this, you're going to want to create something that is going to be a useful workspace that you'll remember when you come back to. And this is because every single time you do this, if you have my project 1, my project 2, my project 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down, in a couple of weeks, you're not going to remember which one is the one that you want to be working in for that day. So for this particular case, I'm just going to say that this is going to be GHY 210 lab 1, and that's where we're going to start. And so once you do that, it's going to open up with what your normal space every time you open up a project is. And so on the on the left-hand side, you have what the contents are. These are all of the things that are currently in your map. So right here you can see there's a hybrid reference layer, and in my case my settings are currently set so that it's in dark mode and the world imagery Firefly map that Esri created comes up. If you're just starting with Arc, chances are pretty good it'll be in light mode, and the map that's going to come up for you is going to likely look something like this, or something fairly similar to that. It's going to have this light one. It's usually going to have a hill shade and the topographic map attached to it as well. So this one actually is the one that will normally pop up. So world topographic map and world hill shade. These aren't interactive maps. You can't do anything with them. So if you click on them, they're not going to do anything. When you zoom in though, they're really useful for locating where you are. So I'm going to go back to my World Firefly map just because I like dark mode better, and you'll see that you have a whole variety of options here. So left-hand side, you're going to have what is actually in your map. Right-hand side is where you're going to have all the different functions that are available for ArcGIS. So for example, this one has the catalog one that's up, and then that's probably the only one if this is your first project that you're going to have up. But as you start working with different things, then whatever you have had up the last time you shut down Arc, in terms of tools or in terms of functions that you're using, chances are pretty good that they're going to be located on this right-hand side. So for example, in my case, I have catalog, geoprocessing, chart properties, and symbology. So this is just where, think of them kind of like tabs in an internet browser. These are just all the different things that you can use and work with, and that's all going to always pop up on this right-hand side. At the top, you have different ribbons. So this is all very consistent with something like Word or Excel, Google Docs, anything like that. These are where all of your different functions are, and they're categorized in different things. So you have map, you have insert, analysis, view, edit, military and symbology, imagery, share, and help. And so each one of these are going to have different functions or tools that you can use to do things with your data or with your map, or to try and see what is going on in the GIS world for your projects. So when you open it, it'll typically stay on map to begin with. And so map is important because you're going to have your explore functions, you're going to have your select functions, and you're going to have your add data functions. And so these are going to be really, really useful for various different things. So your explore, for example, you can see that there's this little hand here. This lets me navigate around the map. So I can click and drag around my map and see where it's going to go. I can scroll in using the middle button and it's going to zoom in. I can scroll out and it's going to zoom out. So those are some useful things. You can also see beside them that they have various different things. So they have full extent. This is going to zoom to the full extent of the map that you have. You have the zoom in, a fixed amount, and the zoom out, a fixed amount, right beside it. And then you also can go back to what your previous view was before. So I'm just going to go back to something similar to when it opened. The other thing that's going to be really useful here is this add data symbol. This add data symbol is where we can go and search for data that exists on our computers. And so you can also search for things that are on the internet. You can have things from the Esri portal. You can have all of those different places where your data is, but to get it in here, that is one of the ways that you can do it. In the Insert tab, this is where we can have new maps. These are not new projects, these are new maps. So if I open that up, it's just going to put up a new tab here. It's going to create a second map in this project. So think of this project kind of like a file folder. These are each of the individual tabs in that. I can have a new layout. That's going to be useful when you start saving maps to print or to export. And those are kind of the two main features. You can also do some other things in here, like change what your color schemes are, what your various different favorites are, things like that. One thing to keep in mind is that this add folder looks very similar to the add data, but this is not where you're going to be able to add in your data. This is just going to let you go and attach some sort of folder. So let's say that I have all of my data in a data folder, then I can go and attach that data. It's going to make it easier for me to navigate when I'm then adding data. But just make sure that this is not the one you think for add data. It looks similar, but it's not the same thing. If you get rid of any of these various different things here, you're probably going to wonder, well, where can I go and get those back? That's going to be under the View ribbon. And so in the View ribbon, you have all the different things that you can view. So on the left-hand side, that was your contents page. And so that's in this top left-hand side. And then a couple ones over, there's the catalog pane, and that's going to bring back your catalog where you can see all of your different things and you can have access to various different things. If you end up getting rid of your map and you're panicking, those actually exist in this nice catalog folder here, and you can open those up and any map that you had in there is going to be available, and you can just double click on it and it's going to pop right back up. So those are kind of the general functional things for your navigation. There's lots more, so one of the things that I would recommend in this particular case is take a look at each of these ribbons and try clicking on things. Right click, double click, those are your two best friends anytime you want to do anything in Arc, is to click on something, right click on something, or double click on something, and something will usually happen. So for example, if I hover over map and I right click on it, there's a menu that pops up. If I double click on it, then I can pop up the properties. So those things are very, very useful, and try those out with very different pieces of information. So those are the general navigational tools. If you want to save it, it's up at the top here. That's going to save the project. You can shut it down. It's very similar to saving your document, and you should be good to go. All right, I'll be back here and show you how I manipulated the data so that you can do that too.